So now in this video, we're going to look at thirds of the supply voltage using a voltage divider. So this is pretty straightforward. We have three equal value resistors right there, and two spots where the resistors connect together, where they're not connecting to the supply. And so if 1/3 of the resistance is to the negative side of the supply, then you're going to have a lower voltage. It's going to be 1/3 of the supply voltage. If 2/3 of the resistance is towards the negative supply and then 1/3 to the positive supply, you're going to have a higher voltage, 2/3 of the supply voltage. So if you're working with 9 volts, you'll have 6 volts right there, and then you'll have 3 volts right there. Pretty straightforward. 12 volts, you'll have 8 volts there and 4 volts right there. And so if you want to do the math, either because you have to or you dislike math, it's really not too bad. So R1 and R2. So you only see one resistor on each side here. This is a common diagram that you will see, schematic diagram, to help guide you along with this. But really it's total resistance. So sometimes you might have more than one resistor. It's total resistance, not that you have to use one resistor. So first off, this bottom number is going to be the same. It's going to be the total resistance across the power supply. That's basically what it's telling you. Add up all the resistance. So that's 3K. So I'm just going to say 3 to make the math easy. But that's 3K for 3,000. So we got 3 there. Now, if we come to this point here, then we have R1. That's those 2,000 ohms of resistance. And then R2 down here, going towards the more negative side of the supply. That's 1/3, 1K. And so we got 1 above 3, 1/3, which is the same as 0.333. So you multiply that by 9, the voltage in, the supply voltage, you end up with 3 volts. Pretty simple. And same thing if you tap into this point. So now at this point, R2, going towards the more negative supply, we have 2K. So we'll say 2. So we got 2 above 3. That stays the same. There's 3,000 ohms of resistance. So we got 2,000, 2K over 3K right there. So 0.666. And then you multiply that by the voltage at 9. And you'll get 2/3 of the supply voltage, which is 6 volts. So the math isn't that hard, even if you're not that good at math. So now we're going to look at this in real life. You should build this stuff when you learn about it too. And so we got 9 volts at the supply there, about 3 milliamps of current, because we have 3 1 kilo ohm resistors in series for a total of 3,000 ohms of resistance. Now we will set the meter to measure voltage. This particular meter, I can leave the red probe there. If you have numbers, set it to a higher number than you expect. So set it above 9 volts. But this is auto ranging, and so all I have to do is set it to voltage, and we are squared away. So you can see we got that to the positive supply, to that resistor, and then that resistor, to that resistor, and then that one to the negative supply. And so first we will look at the voltage of the supply, and one thing you'll notice is that due to resistance and the connections and stuff, we're falling just a bit shy of 9 volts right there. But if I come here, now we have 2/3 of the supply voltage. So the multimeter does not need any current. Just a very tiny amount of current trickles in. If you have something that draws current, that's going to pull it down, and you'll need lower value resistors. So really you want to send this voltage to something that doesn't need any current. But there you can see 2/3 of 9 volts. And then down here we got 1/3 of 9 volts. And so this is something similar to what is inside the 555 timer. There's ways to adjust it, but for the most part there's 3 equal value resistances, and that's how it responds to 1/3 and 2/3 supply voltage. And so sometimes you got to use capacitors and stuff to stabilize that, but that is all it's doing, taking 3 equal value resistors. Very simple, but very effective, so you see it from time to time. Always make sure you turn off the meter. So in any case, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you check out one of the other videos I'm posting. Click like, subscribe, the bell. If you can, donate to Patreon. That helps out the most. I really appreciate that. But just watching as many videos as you can helps out a ton. I have links down in the description. I'll see you in the next video.